I was planning a surprise party for his 30th birthday. I wanted it to be unforgettable, not just for him, but for us. We'd been together 4 years, and through all the ups and downs, I thought we were solid, strong. So I rented a rooftop downtown, ordered custom catering, flew in 2 of his old college friends from LA, and even got his favorite underground DJ to do a private set. The plan was simple: fake a chill weekend apart, then surprise him Saturday night with everyone waiting. It was going to be perfect. But then he started acting weird. Not in a loud way. It was subtle. He suddenly became tired all the time, started locking his phone, spent more time outside taking calls. He said work was piling up, said he was burnt out and needed some space to reset. So I leaned into the lie of canceled dinner plans for that night, let him believe I'd be out of town with friends, all while running errands behind his back to pull this thing off. I kept telling myself he'd be blown away, that he just needed rest, and the joy on his face when he saw the rooftop would make it all worth it. But deep down, something itched. Not a fear, just a flicker. A voice that whispered, "Something's not right." That voice got louder when he ignored my check-in texts that morning. Then a missed call, then 2, then silence. And still, I told myself he was probably just napping, or gaming, or doing anything except the one thing I feared most. But at 6:17 p.m., I saw it. His car wasn't in the driveway. Neither was the neighbor. Rewind a bit, we met at a mutual friend's housewarming party. He was charming, magnetic, and the guy everyone seemed to know. I wasn't even planning to go out that night, but somehow we ended up talking by the wine fridge for 2 straight hours. We clicked fast. Too fast, maybe. Within 3 months, we moved in together. Within 6, he'd met my family. Everyone loved him. He had this effortless way of making you feel like the only person in the room. Every woman I knew swooned over how attentive he was. He still opens the door for you? He texts you good morning every day? Yeah, he did. Or at least, he used to. Somewhere around year 2, the intensity faded. Not dramatically, just small, gradual changes. Good morning texts turned into half-hearted emoji. He stopped planning date nights. The things he used to do to win me became the things he said he was too tired for. Still, I stayed, because he always knew how to pull me back when I pulled away. One romantic weekend, one surprise bouquet, one long, sincere apology. He always knew how to keep me just close enough. And the neighbor, her name Alina, she moved in across the hall about a year ago. Cute, friendly, always smiling, too friendly if you ask me. She'd wave at him a little too long, laugh a little too loud at his jokes, but I told myself I was being paranoid. She was just nice. And he had me. Why would he need anything else? That's what I kept repeating to myself until that Saturday night. When the silence became too loud to ignore, I was supposed to be getting my hair done. That's what I told him. But instead, I drove past our block slowly, windows down, trying not to look suspicious. His car was still missing. The lights in the apartment were off, but something about the way the curtains were pulled caught my attention. We never closed them, not even at night. And then I saw it. Her car, Alina's, parked half a block down. At first I thought maybe she had friends over. Maybe it was just a coincidence. But my gut was screaming. I parked 2 streets over and walked the rest of the way, heart pounding, palms sweating. The sky was just starting to turn that deep pink color, the kind of color that should have meant celebration, joy. Instead, it felt like a countdown to devastation. Every step toward the door felt heavier. The front porch light was on automatic, but there were shadows moving behind the curtain. 1, then 2. I don't know what I thought I'd find. Maybe him asleep, maybe them sitting awkwardly far apart. Anything I could twist into an innocent explanation. But when I reached for the doorknob, it turned. Unlocked. The air inside smelled like vanilla candles. The living room lights were dim. Music was playing softly from his speaker. Not the playlist I made for him last week, but something new. Something smooth. Romantic. And there they were. On the couch. I didn't go home that night. I couldn't. I drove aimlessly for hours, circling the city, trying to outrun the images burned into my brain. Him. Her. The way she looked at me like I was the interruption. Around midnight, I parked outside a 24-hour diner and just sat there. I stared at my phone, waiting for it to light up. Maybe he'd finally explain. Maybe he'd beg. He didn't. The texts came in the next morning. A string of them. I messed up. I didn't mean for it to happen. Can we talk? Talk? What was there to talk about? That she was just a friend? That they were drunk? That I was overreacting? I read each one like it was a line from a bad movie script. Predictable, pitiful, late. The friends I invited to the party messaged too. Where are you? Is everything okay? Did the surprise go wrong? Yeah, you could say that. I ended up texting his friends the truth. Just one line. The party's canceled. He's with someone else. No more details, no drama, just facts. Later that day, I finally went home not to talk to him, but to grab my things. I didn't even pack. I just grabbed a few essentials and walked out. I didn't slam the door, didn't scream. I just left the key on the counter. And you know what the worst part was? He didn't stop me. He just watched me walk out. Like I was a guest who overstayed her welcome. No apology, no breakdown, just silence. And in that silence, I realized he wasn't sorry. He was relieved. Her legs draped over his lap, a blanket tossed across them. She was laughing full on, head thrown back, hand on his chest. He wasn't laughing. Not anymore. He was frozen. Eyes locked on me as I stood there in heels, holding a balloon bag with a stupid gold party hat dangling from my wrist. He didn't even say my name. I didn't move. For a full 5 seconds, I just stood there, every inch of me buzzing, every part of me trying to make sense of what I was seeing. It wasn't just the fact that they were on the couch together. It was how comfortable they looked, how at home she seemed in my home. She didn't even flinch at first, just looked at me, blinked, then slowly sat up like she was embarrassed to be caught, not doing anything wrong. He finally stood up. Wait, it's not I cut him off with a look. I didn't need to hear it. Whatever came next would only make me feel worse. The cupcakes I ordered, still in the car. His friends, probably 15 minutes from arriving to a party that was never going to happen. I looked at him, then at her. I wanted to scream, to cry, to throw something. But instead, I laughed. Not a real laugh. A hollow, sharp, almost psychotic kind of laugh. The kind that fills the space when there's nothing left to feel. Enjoy the party, I said, and I walked out. He didn't follow. He didn't even text for hours. When he finally did, it was the most insulting thing I've ever read. It's not what it looks like. What does it look like then? 2 people cuddling on a couch, under a blanket, in the dark, with romantic music playing? Just friends? Just neighbors? I didn't reply, because deep down, I realized something. This didn't happen tonight. This betrayal didn't start with her legs on his lap. It started weeks ago, maybe months. In every ignored text, every distant kiss, every vague excuse. This wasn't sudden. It was slow. And I'd been watching it happen. The days that followed were a blur of confusion and shame. Not just heartbreak, humiliation, the kind that creeps into your bones and makes you question everything. How did I miss it? Was I too trusting? Too busy? Too naive? I replayed every moment in my head like I was watching a crime documentary about my own life. The warning signs weren't subtle. I just chose to ignore them. The phone turned face down. The random nights out with the boys, the sudden interest in working late, even on Fridays. I'd asked him once, just once, if anything was going on. He looked me in the eye and said, "You're overthinking again." And I believed him, because I wanted to. Because love makes you lie to yourself louder than anyone else ever could. My friends rallied around me, kind of, but no one really knew what to say. You're better off. He doesn't deserve you. You'll find someone who sees your worth. Yeah? Then why did I feel like trash? Why did it feel like I was the fool for trying too hard? I'd planned a party, a literal celebration of our love, while he was planning how to hide his betrayal. Every memory I had, even the good ones, started to rot, because I didn't know which parts were real and which were rehearsed. Did he ever love me, or was I just convenient? The night we moved in together, he held me in his arms and said, "This is it. You're my home." That sentence haunted me, because home is not where you lie. Home is not where you get replaced by the girl next door. Home is not built on half-truths and cold silences and lipstick that doesn't belong to you. I wasn't home to him. I was just a phase he outgrew. It took me a full week before I agreed to meet him, not because I wanted to fix things, but because I needed answers. Closure. Something to explain why the man I was willing to build a life with decided to burn it all down for a fling with someone who lived one floor away. We met at a cafe downtown, public enough that I couldn't cause a scene, private enough that no one would notice if I cried. He showed up looking exactly the same, like betrayal didn't wrinkle him, like lies didn't weigh anything. "Thanks for coming," he said. I didn't respond, just stared. He talked first, of course he did, about how he never planned for this to happen, about how he was confused and emotionally distant and felt neglected. My favorite line? When he said, "She just listened to me. That's all it was." I almost laughed. "That's all it was?" He nodded, looking down. It wasn't supposed to be anything. But then it felt easier than us. That was the moment. Not the cheating, not the lying, that line. It felt easier than us. He wasn't looking for love. He was looking for comfort. And I had become inconvenient. I asked him if he regretted it. He said, "I regret hurting you," which isn't the same, because he didn't regret doing it, only that I found out. I stood up, tossed a few coins on the table, and said, "You didn't lose me because you cheated. You lost me because you didn't fight to keep me." And I walked away. For real this time. When people say they'll be there for you, they usually mean until it gets uncomfortable. At first, everyone had an opinion. Screw him, she did you a favor, lock them both. But after a week or two, the texts slowed down. The invites stopped coming. I started noticing how couples avoided inviting me to things like being single again was contagious, like my breakup made them uncomfortable. One friend, Kate, even said, "Maybe it's a blessing. Now you can find someone better." Yeah, where was that better guy when I was pouring my energy into someone who didn't deserve it? It's funny how fast people move on when it's your life falling apart. I didn't want pity. I wanted space to rage. I wanted someone to sit with me while I ugly cried and cursed his name and said things I didn't mean out loud just to get them out. Instead, I got a lot of, "You're so strong and everything happens for a reason." Let me be real. I didn't feel strong. I felt stupid. I didn't want a lesson. I wanted my life back. I stopped answering calls, stopped posting. I disappeared for a bit. Because I didn't need the world's sympathy, I needed my own clarity. But you know who did check in? My neighbor's roommate. The one who heard the whole thing go down. The one who said, "I always thought he was sketchy." The way he waited for you to leave before heading to her place. That was the nail in the coffin. He didn't just cheat. He planned it. He didn't just betray me. He made time for it. And suddenly, I didn't feel sad anymore. I felt cold. And that's when I knew I wasn't healing. I was hardening. The high from walking away didn't last long. It hit me one random Tuesday 3 weeks later. I was brushing my teeth, running late for work, and I glanced at the empty spot on the bathroom counter where his shaving kit used to be. And I just lost it. Dropped the toothbrush, collapsed to the floor, sobbing like I hadn't let myself in weeks. Because that's the thing about betrayal, it doesn't hit you all at once. It's slow, creeping, like water seeping through cracks you thought were sealed. I missed stupid things. His laugh during trash reality shows, the way he always knew how I liked my coffee, the smell of his hoodie that still hung behind the door. I even missed the way he'd steal fries off my plate and deny it with a grin. And it made me furious. How dare he make me miss him after what he did? How dare he still live in my head, rent-free, after blowing up everything we built? I started deleting old photos not out of rage, but out of survival. Each one felt like a lie, a snapshot of a fantasy I used to believe in. One by one, I erased the version of us that only I had been loyal to. The hardest part wasn't the cheating. It was realizing he'd checked out long before he left, that I'd been the only one fighting to keep us alive. And when the party was over, the guests were gone, the decorations came down, he didn't stay to clean up the mess. He just walked away. Like I was some chapter he finished reading. But I wasn't done. 6 months later, I ran into him. Not planned, not dramatic, just fate's little middle finger. I was at the grocery store, no makeup, hair a mess. He was holding a basket of wine and instant noodles. Alone. We locked eyes. He smiled. I didn't. He tried to make small talk, asked how I'd been, said I looked good like he had a right to notice. I said, I'm fine, and meant it, because I was. He asked if I ever thought about us. If maybe, in another time, we could have... I cut him off. No. You were the right lesson at the wrong time, and I don't retake classes I've passed. He laughed awkwardly, tried to play it cool. But I saw it, that flicker of regret, that moment when he realized I wasn't the same woman who once begged him to fight for me. I had become the woman who fought for herself. He left the store first, didn't even buy anything. And as I walked to my car, groceries in hand, I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I didn't look back. Because healing isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the moment you stop rewriting the past and start authoring your future. And the truth? He didn't break me. He revealed me. So, thank you, Alina. Thank you for the stolen kisses and the betrayal. Because without your betrayal, I'd still be planning surprise parties for someone who never deserved a seat at my table. Now, I plan for me, and I show up for the one person who never left, myself.